This is Tuning Into Sci-Fi TV, the viewer's guide to genre television for the weeks of January 19th to February 1st, 2026.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. I'm Wendy Hembrock.
I'm Brent Barrett.
And I'm Kevin Batchelder.
And we appreciate you coming by to listen to us talk about genre television. You can also join our Discord channel and talk to other listeners about shows we may not even cover on the main show that other folks are enjoying. We also talk about other topics, too. Music, other interests, so all are welcome.
And we have polls from time to time. We got one up there right now asking people what they think about Star Trek Starfleet Academy, so go over there and vote.
Join in the fun.
Absolutely. We also updated folks about the addition of ads to the main show. We also had some ads going out with the Tuner Minute that was as long or longer than the actual Tuner Minute. We're trying to remove those going forward, and we appreciate your patience as we continue to experiment with ads.
Thank you for speaking up about the Tuner Minute. That was definitely not our intention to have that kind of a ad saturation on the Tuner Minute.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a oops.
Yeah, we weren't exactly sure how this would work until we flipped the switch, so we appreciate everyone's input and patience. We also have the TIST Hall of Fame running, and that includes a listener choice. So you still have time. You can submit your votes through voicemail. You can email us. If you post on Discord, you can also get some upvotes from other listeners, which we do pay attention to. As we pick this year's Hall of Fame.
And stay tuned for the next podcast when we announce all of the inductees.
Yeah, whittling down my choices. Think I've got it finally decided.
All right. I'm amazed. I've got mine already done and excited to talk about it. So until then, though, let's head on over now to the water cooler.
You obviously love podcasts, but are you also a fan of movies and television? Do you want to listen to a show that reviews entertainment honestly and casts pretentiousness to the wind? That debates both film and TV topics in a fun, good-spirited way, while still getting to the heart of why we all love them so much? Then don't miss the award-winning weekly podcast, The Hollywood Outsider, now available on your favorite podcast app or at thehollywoodoutsider.com.
First up, we're going to cover our quick reviews for the shows we think you should watch now, watch soon, let sit, or skip. And we're covering January 19th through February 1st. So first up is Percy Jackson, Season 2, Episode 8. The Fleece Works Its Magic Too Well, the season finale. I would give this a high watch it soon, almost low watch it now.
I'm going to take it over into low watch it now. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, I'll go high watch it soon.
And we had School Spirit, Season 3 premiere. Episode 1, It's a Wonderful Afterlife. Episode 2, Mean Ghouls. And Episode 3, The Halls Have Eyes. I would say it's a pretty solid start. I would give them all a high watch it soon.
I'm going to give the first two a watch it soon, but since we got some cool answers in the third one, I'm going to go high watch it soon on that one.
Yeah, I'm really digging the season. I'm with Wendy. I'm giving them all high watch it soons.
And Fallout, Season 2, Episode 6, The Other Player, and Episode 7, The Handoff. I am all caught up, and I'll go high watch it soon for both.
First one, I'm going to give a low watch it now, and the most recent one, I'll say watch it now.
Oh, guess I'm the curmudgeon for these two. I'd go high watch it soon, just watch it soon.
Okay, Star Trek, Starfleet Academy, Season 1, Episode 3, Vitus Reflux, and Episode 4, Vox in Excelsior. The third one, I would give a watch it soon. The most recent one, higher watch it soon.
By the time we got to the title sequence of the first episode, I had come to the conclusion that this is not the Star Trek I want to see. It's not interesting at all to me, so I'm done. I give the first one a skip because I skipped it, and then I'm not watching anymore.
Yeah, I'll give both of these like a low watch it soon. Kind of watch it soon, kind of in there somewhere. I want to talk a little bit about it back porch.
I'm feeling you with those comments, Kevin.
Strange New Worlds can't come back soon enough, in my opinion.
Yeah, it kind of makes me miss it more.
Moving on to A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. We had episode 2, The Hedge Knight, and episode 3, Salt Hard Meat. I would give them both high watch it soon.
I'm going to give the first one high watch it soon. The second one a low watch it now.
I'm not watching this one yet.
All right. And Wonder Man premiered on Disney. We got all of season 1. I've only seen the first 2 episodes, and I'm very intrigued. I'll call it a high watch it soon.
Yeah, I completed the entire series in the course of 2 days, and I would say high watch it soon for the whole series.
Yep, looking forward to this one, but haven't started yet.
All right. So let's move on to some listener feedback and news. First, we've got a voicemail from Jesse Jackson in Dallas, Texas, about the rewatch Psychology Tuner Minute that Kevin did.
I don't get to do as many rewatches as I'd like because there's so much new material. But when I do a rewatch, it is normally for several of the reasons they mentioned. One, there's going to be a new season coming, and I want to remind myself what was on the first season. Or more often, the reason why is the series has finished, and I want to rewatch so that I can catch all the things that I missed the first time, such as Babylon 5. When I rewatch Babylon 5, I see all the clues and items that were built into his story. On my list is to rewatch Lost for that same reason, to have the whole experience. I want to re-see The Leftovers because I enjoyed this series so much. I want to experience it all again with a better understanding. So does that kind of take a little blend of all those categories? Anyway, great question.
Hey, thank you, Jesse. Appreciate your thoughts there. And yeah, I think like the discussion the three of us had, and like I've seen from comments in our Discord, most folks have got little dabblings of each part of those. It's not just one of the categories. And for the reasons that you kind of brought up, sometimes for a show coming back, you have a reason to rewatch. Sometimes it's the nostalgia side. So that's where it's kind of was interesting to look at that video that kind of showed some categories, if you will. And then when or certainly for me and others that I've been seeing comments from, you kind of dabble in all the categories, which is kind of fun. So thank you very much.
Yeah, Jesse, it was great to hear from you. Listening to your comments, I also very much rewatch things to catch those clues in a show for things that they paid off later, especially if there's a mystery involved or maybe a convoluted arc. And for that reason, I just put on my list to rewatch Fringe. And it's probably a little bit higher up in the priorities than I would have thought. But that's one of them that kind of falls in that same category. So thank you again for your feedback.
Yeah, Fringe, that's a good one because I was watching somebody react to it and using that as my rewatch, but I don't think I ever saw them in the series. I think they did. I just forgot to watch the rest of them. So it's one I'm itching to watch again too. Thanks, Jesse. It seems like you have a lot more spare time than I do. I'm jealous. But you have a good mix, like you said, of ways of watching stuff or rewatching stuff. I wanted to give a quick little update if I could hijack this for my wife. I mentioned last time that she was a person who said she would never rewatch anything because she's already seen it once. It was a waste of time to watch it again. And I told you guys last podcast that she had started rewatching Cagney and Lacey, I believe. And I caught her last, a couple nights ago watching Macmillan and Wife, from the early 70s. And I asked her, she said she's found a lot of stuff on Amazon from the 70s and even the 60s, and she's planning on watching and rewatching a bunch of stuff. So my wife has changed. If somebody could tell me, what alien has replaced her, I would like to know.
Keeping you on your toes, Brent.
Yeah.
Maybe she's secretly joined our Discord under another name.
Oh, I told her I think that she might be going senile, losing her memory, so I'm going to have to commit her soon. She didn't appreciate that.
I can see why. So if you have any thoughts on the 200 minutes, we would love to hear them. And we're going to move on to some news. I've got some news about Apple's For All Mankind. We'll have a link in the show notes to the season 5 official teaser, as well as the date that it's coming back. It's going to come back to streaming on March 27th. And I'm not watching this show, so I can't really tell from the teaser, which is, not too long, about 30 seconds, if it looks really promising or not, because I don't know where we left off in season 4. But from a production standpoint, it looks really cool.
Yeah, For All Mankind is a show I haven't watched yet. I don't know if I will. Now that I have Apple TV for a few more months, I might. But I know that Jesse Jackson loved this. The guy we just heard on the voicemail loved this show, but I have not checked it out. I did watch the teaser, just a guy zooming along in a bike on some low-gravity planet. I don't know much more about it than that.
Yeah, no, it looks interesting in terms of the fact that, again, this show has been talked about by many people who I trust, Jesse being one of them in terms of their opinion. So I have not got to it yet, but I keep finding ways to keep it fresh each season, so kudos.
Yes, indeed. And Brent is going to share some news about a show that we all found quite refreshing, Paradise.
Well, you too. I didn't watch it. I watched the first episode. I didn't like it, so I didn't watch the first season. But I will admit that this trailer makes it look a lot more interesting than my first impressions of the pilot episode, which kind of bored me a bit. I tuned out. But it looks like they're perhaps going to be on the surface. I don't know if that happened in season 1 or not, but we see some storylines happening up there. And it's going to be showing up on Hulu on February 23rd. So check it out.
Yeah, this was, in terms of the content in the trailer, interesting. I mean, it's a natural progression from where we left at the end of the last season without getting spoilery. But as Brent said, it looks like things, and again, it's trailer. Maybe these are all the, quote, action-y bits from the whole season. But the show wasn't moving that quick based on the trailer. But it does look like we're going some interesting places, which is just what I want to see.
Yeah, it does look like it starts off shortly after where things ended in season 1. I agree, Kevin. We could have quite a bit of time between some of the action we might be seeing, but that was okay for me in season 1, but we'll see. It looks like we're going to get, some answers paid off, as well as find out what's been going on sort of outside the cave. So next up, Kevin's got some news about Invincible.
Yes, we do. Link in the show notes, folks, to the Invincible Season 4 official trailer from Amazon. It's a little over 2 minutes long, some good meaty stuff for the show. And a reminder that it's coming back on March the 18th. So for those that are fans, I'm sure, dive right in. You'll be interested in what they got for us.
Yeah, this is a show that I did not start watching. I guess I was busy, and it's just bad timing. I think this is one that I'm just going to have to sit down and watch, from start to finish once we get to the finish.
Oh, I thought you had watched a couple seasons of Invincible. I'm sorry. Yeah, the trailer looks cool, very cool. Considering it looks like things are coming to a climax, at least as far as the parents, the father, and the mother, of course, and Earth's fate. So it looks pretty intense. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, Brent, I tried to watch season 1, and then when season 2 came, I tried to go back and catch up on season 1 to get ready for 2, and I just couldn't make it happen.
Oh, that's happened to me in a lot of shows, so I totally feel you.
Yeah. So I've also got some news from HBO about endpoints for many of its series. I'm going to talk about the 2 genre ones, though. So they have confirmed that for House of the Dragon, we will be wrapping things up with season 4. And with The Last of Us, they say it's still on track to end after its 3rd season. Now, in both cases, the person who was sharing this was President Casey Bloys, and he did hedge a little bit, saying, things could change. So depends on, I would assume it's all about the dollars and the ability to extend contracts for the on-screen talent and the writers and producers behind screen. We also got some little tidbits about the behind-the-scenes drama with House of the Dragon. George R. R. Martin quite famously put a blog post just reaming out the showrunner, Ryan Condal, was quickly chastised to take it down like 2 days later. But apparently those two have had a big falling out over the direction of House of the Dragon. And Bloys basically was wishing that George hadn't aired the dirty laundry. And that was kind of it. So some interesting stuff. I'm not sure if anyone's surprised by these timings for House of the Dragon or Last of Us. These seem like very constructed stories that should have endings that are not, wide open to, endless seasons just to keep on making money.
Yeah, I like I've said many times, I enjoyed, the Game of Thrones and not really watched House of the Dragon. But to hear the endpoints for that at least they know where they're ending. It's good to know as a fan, and Last of Us as well. I'm sad to see The Last of Us go. I'd like that to continue forever, but it's good that we know when these things are going to end.
Yeah, from a quality of story point of view, I think it's good that more networks don't leave things totally open-ended. That they let us have stories that are going to have pacing that makes it enjoyable. I mean, I get that they totally want to also leave just a crack on the door in case some show blows up with viewership and stuff. And ask the writers, therefore, or showrunners to kind of leave a little room to wiggle and bring it back. But much better that than this totally open-ended stuff, and then new heads of departments come in and decided cut a show, and it's been left on a cliffhanger. So I think I'd rather see more networks doing this kind of, yes, we've fixed an end date, but we're also flexible to change.
Yep, I hear you. Thinking about Wheel of Time as you make those comments. So let's switch on over to the Marvel Universe. Brent has some news about Daredevil Born Again.
Yeah, we got a season 2 teaser trailer for Daredevil, and it looks like there's a bit of a skip of time, because if you recall, the end of season 1, Daredevil was a little sidelined because of some events that happened, but he seems back in the action. We're switching to a darker Daredevil. He's apparently, the comic book fans, I never read the comics for Daredevil, are saying that, this is a comic accurate thing where he goes into a black suit and all of that. So that seems to be happening. And he's got more of a comic accurate double D on his uniform, on his costume. So that's kind of cool. It's coming back March 24th on Disney Plus, and there is a big reveal. I don't know if we should say it here. It's spoiler free, but it is in the teaser. So I won't say the name. I'll just say a character from the previous Netflix show has returned.
Nice job of dancing around that, Brent. Well done. Seeing that got me very excited. And this trailer, because I was a little down on the first season of Daredevil Born Again, looks like, okay, maybe they got their you-know-what together and are giving us some stuff we all want to see. So this certainly gave me a much more positive vibe. Got the official date. I mean, I think we had heard March, but they picked an actual date there, so that's good too. So, yeah, I mean, bring it on. This is looking good.
It is. I can't believe Brent went by and did not mention a particular redheaded character in the trailer.
She's got to be there.
Whereas I will mention the black-haired character in the leather jacket that I'm very excited to see. coming back into our universe. Definitely excited for this one. The story, I'm not so sure. I can't really tell, but the trailer, this teaser trailer definitely did its job. I'm very excited for season 2.
Remember, this one, it does give a little bit of the story. Remember, they set up the whole anti-vigilante task force thing. So this season seems to be about that and about fighting that force. Remember that the Punisher was put in jail or put in prison.
Yep.
Or a cell, a hidden cell. And so that's going to play a part. And then there is speculation, rampant speculation. Okay, I've got my tinfoil hat on now. And it don't hold me to any of this, but there's rampant speculation that by the end of this season, Spider-Man will make an appearance in the show. Because remember, he's a vigilante in New York City.
I did see a little bit of that, and I was like, I don't know. Spider-Man doesn't fit tonally into the Daredevil universe to me, but...
In the comics he does. He's all over the comics with Daredevil. They team up a lot.
Oh, is he? Okay. Yeah, I didn't read the comics. Again, I think of the Tobey Maguire era Spider-Man as my friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. So I don't think of him and Matt Murdock hanging out.
If you think about it, they get along a lot better than him and Punisher would, because Spider-Man and Daredevil have the exact same, philosophy. You capture the bad guys and turn them over to the police. Let justice take their course,
True. It's just, I always think of Spider-Man as a lot more
wholesome,
cleaned up like Superman.
Yeah. Well, a bigger name hero too, so.
Yep. Yeah, that'll be interesting. So let's switch over into another universe, and Kevin has got some news about the Star Trek franchise.
And by Star Trek, I'm sure you mean Star Wars.
I do mean Star Wars.
You're just testing me, Wendy. You're testing me.
Geek card revoked.
Been a long day.
Well, it's an animated show, so you're just trying to see if I was paying attention.
I made the same mistake a few podcasts back, if you recall.
Yep. We've got a trailer out now for Star Wars Maul Shadow Lord. And as I said, this is going to be an animated series. It's close to 2 minutes long, folks. So 2-episode premiere dropping on April the 6th. So interested, take a look. They do got quite a lot of action-y stuff in here. So good to see them bringing back a pretty popular character. So not something I can say would be high on my list, but certainly looks interesting.
So this is high on my list. I am very interested in the Darth Maul character and what they've done with it in all of the additional animated elements of Star Wars, from Clone Wars and Rebels, and I'm trying to remember the name of the other shorts that they did, but I'm looking forward to this. I am going to have to go find some internet continuity to tell me where I am in the timeline for this show, but it's definitely going on my list.
Yeah, from what I understand, it takes place before Rebels. It takes place after Solo, the movie, but before Rebels, where Maul meets his end. I'm kind of looking forward to this too. Now we finally know what Sam Witwer on that podcast of like a year ago almost with Katie Sackhoff. He kept dancing around. There's this potential Star Wars maybe project that I can't really talk about, and now we know what he was talking about.
Yeah, cool stuff. So I've got some interesting news about Apple's expansion plans. Now they're going fantasy, and they have just closed a deal with Brandon Sanderson, who has written the Cosmere books. I do not know these books, but apparently they're pretty popular. It looks like people are excited. So some of the things that are planned to be adapted would be the Mistborn series, and potentially for feature-length movies, the Stormlight Archive, maybe for television. So if folks are familiar with these properties, we'd love to hear you weigh in on your thoughts on these prospects.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Wendy. I know nothing about this stuff, so I'm looking forward to hearing more too.
Yeah, the Brandon Sanderson worked on the end of the Wheel of Time series when the original author, Robert Jordan, passed away. And I had seen, when I was paying attention to a lot of Wheel of Time stuff, him mentioned and having some, own, work of his own. And Mistborn was one that was very highly reviewed and recommended by a lot of folks. I saw it on sale at one point on Amazon, so I did purchase it for my Kindle, but I have not gotten to it yet. I'm finishing out the latest Dresden Files book right now. So, but I heard a lot of good things from folks. So this is good that they're, going with an author and a universe that's got a lot of content there. And Apple tends to really do a great job with quality there. So I think, this is something I'm definitely going to be keeping a close eye on.
Well, he also has very loyal fans because apparently he ran a record-breaking Kickstarter for 4 novels, and he raised $42 million, which was the most successful in the platform history at that time. So I'm guessing we've got a couple of listeners that are familiar with his work, and we would love to hear from you if you are one of them.
Yeah, this is, like I say, this is definitely one, not much of a reader beyond a few book series, but even I was like, I think I want to try this out. So interesting.
Yep, and apparently there was quite a battle to land him. So now we're going to switch over to some casting news that Brent has out of the Ghost universe.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be in the Ghost universe per se, like in the same fictional universe, but it's by the executive producers of Ghost. They're creating a new show it's a vampire comedy, not a ghost comedy, called Eternally Yours. And it's going to be on CBS. They're doing a pilot for it. I don't know if this means that it's good to go for a season order or not yet. I'm not quite sure. But they did cast a while back, apparently, Ed Weeks to be the male lead. And they're announcing now that Allegra Edwards, who is apparently the star of Upload, which I have not yet caught up on, is being cast as the female lead opposite him. So like I said, vampire comedy. So I'm actually kind of excited if it's from this. You're going to have the same, feel of Ghosts, the same sort of not template. You know what I mean? It's the same sort of lighthearted comedy, sort of supernatural thing, half-hour comedy maybe. I'm very excited to see it. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, this has got two angles definitely interested. One, the concept, obviously that's a wacky concept idea with the vampires. And yes, the female lead, I know Wendy and I greatly enjoyed her in Upload. She definitely can pull off comedy. She did a great job with some very dry humor and some other stuff too. So yeah, this would be great if this comes together.
Yeah, this jumped out at me when I saw the photo of her as part of the casting news. And I agree, Kevin, she has quite a range, very comparable to our lead in Ghosts. It's also interesting because it says that the basic concept is it's about this, the two vampires who are married, Liz and Charles, and they've been married for a long time. And they have, a human is dating their daughter. So, and hijinks ensue. I'm assuming is part of that as well. So this could be really interesting and fun. Definitely could use more humor right now. So, this is something to put on the radar.
Sounds like a combination of What We Do in the Shadows and All in the Family.
Okay. There's a combo.
Okay. We also have the Saturn Awards announced, and Kevin's going to talk about some of those details.
Yeah, sure I am. Link in the show notes, folks, if you haven't read up on the nominees. The presentation of the actual award winners will be in early March. It's March the 8th. They're just putting out the nominees now. And that event actually will be hosted by Joel McHale. We're very familiar with him from Community and a lot of other things. So the Saturn Awards tend to be thought about, for science fiction, fantasy, genre things. And they definitely are. Most of the categories there are going to cover things like science fiction, fantasy, horror. But they also do some action adventure stuff, some thriller. You have categories for best TV show, for example, in all those areas. They've also got movies, actors and actresses supporting and such. So it is a long list of stuff. Nowhere near enough time to kind of go through all of it. A few things that caught my eye, just to kind of mention from Kevin's perspective. It was nice to see in the best science fiction television series category, along with some, expected things like Severance and Star Trek Strange New Worlds and Andor and Foundation. You also had The Ark being nominated for best science fiction series. So kudos for that Sci-Fi Channel show that some folks, including Wendy, have really talked up quite a bit. And lots of other things. Pluribus is in here for best new genre show. I found it interesting in their action adventure television series category. There's a show nominated for best, series in that category of Duster. And I think I might have mentioned this on a podcast or two here with us. It's not a genre show. It's a series. It's basically a cop type show set in the 70s. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was done well. You got folks like Josh Holloway from Lost is in here. You got Keith David, very well known for many years, for the movies and such he's done. And the female lead here, Rachel Hilson, was excellent. I mean, I was very disappointed when they canceled this thing. I think it was Amazon show. They only let it have, it's HBO Max. My apologies, folks. HBO Max. But it was just a single season with 8 episodes. But I thought it was done well. Really good chemistry in the cast and all. So this is definitely one of those ones where I go, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That was a good choice there. So ton of them to take a look at in terms of who is nominated here if you want to dig into it.
Yeah, this was fun to read. Somewhat to be reminded of some great shows. Also happy to see some things get some love. The Ark is definitely, I would say, one of the most under the radar of the nominees for Best Sci-Fi TV Series. And I was very happy to see Foundation and Silo get some recognition in there. I was also happy to see for new genre television series, Alien Earth, which I'll talk about in a future podcast, but I haven't been able to catch up and watch all of that. It was nice to see superheroes get their own whole category, with Gen V included on that list, which was kind of a surprise for me how much I enjoyed it since my enthusiasm for the boys has waned. It was also nice to see Murderbot getting a nod for limited series. Harley Quinn is in there for animated series. And also Star Wars Tales of the Underworld, which I also enjoyed a lot.
Yeah, you guys fit on a lot of the categories and nominations. I'm going to run down real quick a few things that I hope will happen. Winners I hope will happen. Best Younger Performer in a Television Series. They have Sadie Sink there, Max from Stranger Things. I hope she wins. She might actually, because she's got such a big thing happening in the Marvel Universe soon. I also wanted the Best Actress in a Television Series. I'm kind of hoping Jenna Ortega wins that because I just love her in Wednesday, even though I'm sure Millie Bobby Brown will probably win it. Maybe Sydney Chandler. She's pretty cool in Alien Earth as well. Best Actor, I want John Cena from Peacemaker to win. In Best Animated Series, I think Marvel Zombies is my pick. I love Harley Quinn, but I really dug Marvel Zombies as well. I think from Best Superhero Television Series, as you mentioned, Wendy, the new category, I'd pick Peacemaker out of that group. Gen V was good. It'll probably be Daredevil, though, knowing our luck at picking those sorts of things. And on Best New Genre Television Series, I'm right there. Alien Earth. I'm going to pick that one for sure. It's the one I want to see win. Best Horror Series, Last of Us. For the Best Fantasy Series, it's either going to be Stranger Things or Wednesday. It'll probably be Stranger Things since it was such a big event. And then for Best Science Fiction Television Series, I'm going to go with Star Trek Strange New Worlds.
Yeah, lots of good choices in there. I do hope John Cena gets some Peacemaker love. It's very hard to play the kind of character he's playing and make him sympathetic and, I'll call it anti-heroic. He does deserve some appreciation for sure. I'm a little bit worried about recency bias. Stranger Things might get a lot of more recognition than some other shows because of its, recent finale.
I'm sure it will. Yeah, John Cena is a good actor. People may overlook that, but he's pretty good.
Indeed. So we're going to close out the water cooler with a tuner minute, which I recorded this week. It's titled, Pleased to Meet You. It's that time of year when people like to put together lists, and I got sucked into a website naming all kinds of best of lists, but the one that actually intrigued me a lot was a list of best entrances or introductions of a character. And this list was 10 items, and it had a handful of genre characters. One of the prominent characters that they noted was Tywin Lannister's introductory scene in Game of Thrones, which was definitely memorable. But there's a lot of other ones, so I'm curious if you guys have any character entrances that really stand out for you. The other one that actually wasn't in the list, but was in a lot of people's comments, was Supernatural's introduction of a couple characters. So I'm curious, when it comes to meeting new characters, what are some of the most memorable entrances for you?
That's going to be tricky for me with not enough notice to go through my entire list of everything I've ever seen.
I know.
But when it comes to mind, and it's not necessarily a brand new character, but an appearance of a character that really excited the heck out of me. I'm thinking Ghost Rider from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That, when he appeared in that show, I was like, oh my God, I've loved Ghost Rider. I was just amazed to see his appearance, especially with the whole, when our hero could see him from a distance, intimidating those bad guys and killing some of them, and all of that. So it was just a really dramatic entrance of a character for me. And I'm sure there's a bunch more. I can't think of them off the top of my head, but that one comes right to mind, I guess.
For me, there are two that really kind of stick there. The first one is the introduction of Faith in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. In an alleyway, when Buffy's afraid some poor girl is, going to be overtaken by a vampire, but it turns out there's another Slayer there, and she's Faith. Those of you that know the character know, yep, that's quite an appearance. And the other one for me, too, is going to be from, which won't surprise any of our listeners, is from Winona Earp. The introduction of Waverly Earp with her shotgun almost killing her sister, I thought was a very funny and very applicable entrance for a character.
So, Kevin, Spike's introduction on Buffy was one that was on the list that was on this website that I was reading, which also popped into my head as one of them. The other one that popped up for me was from Supernatural with the introduction of Castiel, the Archangel. I thought that was a really, really well done introduction.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that is a good choice, too.
In the restaurant, the diner or whatever?
Yeah.
Yep, see, even I remember that one, too.
Yeah, so I know that it is tough to kind of rifle through the many years of shows, but if this jogs anybody's memories, we would love to hear from you. Or any other thoughts on anything we've been talking about today. Let's head on over now into the back porch.
Today we talk about Star Trek, Starfleet Academy, School Spirits, Percy Jackson, and One Piece.
So first up, we are going to talk about Star Trek, and Kevin is going to lead the discussion of Starfleet Academy.
I will, and it's a little bit about the episodes that have aired since, for this particular podcast, which is 3 and 4, but it's more in the general sense. And we touched a little bit on it, with the first couple of episodes. It is not a surprise at all that Brent tapped out on this one for just the concern that we all had when we started seeing the trailers. And now that we've got 4 episodes in, we got a real feel for what this is trying to do, I think, unless it changes radically. Now, And the fun name, which I kind of agree with and gives me a chuckle and I think is accurate, is that it's, Star Trek 90210. But here's the thing. While I don't like some of what they're doing, tonally, the characters, some of the relationships, I gotta say that several of them I kind of dig and I'm enjoying seeing. So I'm very conflicted when I go to give ratings for this episode sometimes. There's some that I just greatly, big fan of the actors, like I've talked about already multiple times, Holly Hunter. Loved her in several things, movies and shows she's done. But some of the other characters, the cadets, I'm kind of interested in where they're going, but not all of them. Some of them are really annoying the crap out of me. So I just wanted to touch on this a little bit, maybe get some of Wendy's thoughts, because I know Brent is not watching it. And I'm seeing some similar stuff both on our Discord and just social circles as well for this show. Some folks are just like, hey, it's a different rendition. I love that Star Trek does something different. And they're good with it. Some folks are like, yeah, 2 episodes, I'm out. This is not my Star Trek kind of thing. Not in a rude way, just in a, yep, not mine. And I have said in multiple situations that I would probably like this show better if it was named something else and it wasn't so much Star Trek. I mean, again, actors and some things here. So I don't know. I'm very conflicted. I am still watching it. I'm not in any concern about dropping it. It's just I'm not sure what it is yet. Wendy?
I'm right there with you, Kevin. I think I rated these a little bit higher because there are certain characters that I am starting to like and certain character interactions. There's other stuff that I don't like. And I'll use the episode 3 one, if I'm remembering correctly. That's the one where it's the academy versus the military cadets, right? And they have to go against each other in the Goblet of Fire. I'll use a Harry Potter reference. I thought there were certain parts that were fun. There were certain parts that were cringe retread. But I really like Holly Hunter. She's obviously having a ball playing the character she's playing. She's very mercurial, which is not a trait that's familiar for Starfleet commanders. So I like that. I really liked how the 2 team captains were the humor that they brought into the episode. That my problem though is usually a lot of Star Trek has a message, right? I'm not getting those messages so much. It's more about some character having a little moment of growth potentially. We had the competition between, and I don't know all the characters' names at this point, but the woman who ended up being the captain versus the one who was certain he should be the captain. Like, I could have cared less about that. And in the most recent episode, there were some, again, interesting ideas. The idea of debate. They had one person who's obviously very advanced at it, and then we have our Klingon, and we got a lot of backstory about the Klingon and how he ended up becoming part of Starfleet Academy. I thought it was way dragged out. It was also a little bit trying my patience because they've decided that this Klingon speaks incredibly slowly and painfully. Maybe he'll loosen up. Maybe that's part of his arc, is he needs to loosen up. There were points that I was very empathetic for him, though, because he was having a panic attack. He didn't want to do the debate, but then he also didn't want somebody trying to bail him out. And then in this episode, they tried to pull I would call it a very much Star Trek foundational principles move, where they're like, okay, so the Klingons won't do what we want. They won't accept a gift. They have to take a victory, so we'll create a victory. At the end, again, Holly Hunter has this backstory connection with an older Klingon that was very playful and fun and I kind of wanted to know a little bit more about what happened with those two. But it is a kind of a mixed bag for me. It's like a lot of moments that are really great, but it isn't all gelling for me yet.
And I think I just want to add a little bit of clarity as to why I gave up on the show in the context of what you guys are talking about. Yeah, there's little tiny bits that I enjoyed as well, but there was just so much that I didn't enjoy. And Star Trek to me is a show about adventure, and I want adventure. I want an adventure every week. I want to see some or all of the crew, in the case of a starship, or some or all of the cast involved in some big adventure. And I'm just not getting that. I got a rushed adventure in the first episode on their trip to San Francisco. But that was so rushed that it didn't even feel like a real Star Trek adventure to me. So I looked at it and I said, I've got so much stuff on my plate and I'm so busy with things, work, life, so many shows I want to watch that I enjoy. I've never been a fan of shows like this, like you said, the 90210 kind of show. Never been a fan of that. And I'm not getting enough of what I want. And so to me, it just doesn't feel like Star Trek. So I'm just not watching. But like Kevin said, everybody has their own opinion. I respect them all. There are people who are sticking to this and love it. Great. I totally respect your position on it. I just don't. So I gave up. I decided not to, in my mind, no, don't use it. Don't read this word wrong. In my mind, I would be wasting an hour every week watching this. I know it's not a waste for people who enjoy it, but to me it would be, because I'd be watching it, not liking most of it, and then picking out a couple of little things that I like. To my mind, I could just, watch clips on YouTube later. I don't need to watch the show.
And I totally understand. That's what the challenge we'd love to talk about. Too many good things. We're in a state where we do have a ton of good shows to be able to watch. And by good, I'm not talking, critics says it good. I mean, a show that just speaks to you and the type you enjoy. And if that's the case, yeah, this one is very much all over the place. And Wendy, I think you hit the nail on the head that there are some wonderful moments in all these episodes. Character interactions, a little take, in the one about the battle, shall we say, between the two groups, the War College and our cadets. The fact that, Holly Hunter is the chancellor or whatever she is. She can't tell the kids what to do, but she gives them the answers in this answer that everyone's like, what the hell did she just say? And then when you think about it, she's telling us we should be doing this. So there is some interesting stuff there. That's why I say I just wish it wasn't called Star Trek something. Because Brent's point is also right on. For me, Star Trek has been, like he said, adventures. Life and death on the border of things, and that's not what this is. We are kind of like peeking behind the curtain at the beginnings of some Starfleet careers. So yeah, it's not going to be like most of our other Star Treks. It's not that it's bad, as Brent pointed out. It's just, yeah. I mean, if I were to look at the shows that I'm watching now, or in the last couple of months before it or after it, it's definitely in the bottom third. And as long as I still have time, I'm enjoying it. But if I had to drop a show, this one would certainly be in the discussion.
Yeah, no, I'm in agreement with you both. I'm willing to be a little bit more patient to see kind of if it is going to move beyond these, I'll call them character scenarios, because it's very much about, things that typically happen to kids when they go away to school or their first year away from home kind of things. And that they all feel like outcasts and all those identity questions of young people. But that isn't Star Trek, right? To Brent's point, Star Trek is an adventure in space. and we might learn something about the characters along the way. Instead, we've got a lot of characters who are on a spaceship. And that's kind of where the space part has ended recently.
A spaceship on the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, don't we always talk about shows that, quote, qualify as genre, but really when you look at them, Art, that's kind of like this one is. It's just what's going on at college.
Yeah. That's what it is.
Yeah. So I'm going to stick with it a little bit longer, like I said, because I do enjoy many of the performances, and I'm getting a little bit interested in some of the characters. So I'm in for now, but as Kevin mentioned, it could easily fall off the list if other things take a higher priority. And one of the shows that probably does take higher priority for me is School Spirits, which came back for season 3. And we had a couple of episodes that were really good in terms of picking right up where we left off. Simon, we still don't entirely know what happened to Simon. Simon is, I'll call it, on the other side with the dead students. And Maddie is alive. And one of the things that I've been enjoying is her trying to reconnect with her mother and kind of make up for the things that happened when Nancy was in her body. It does appear that Nancy crossed over. But I'm going to be curious if somehow she can come back. That's just me. I am enjoying the Simon mystery and his involvement with the ghosts and sort of flipping that dynamic of now Maddie walking into rooms and talking to nobody, and all of the uncomfortable things she's going through with being back, all the sort of petty stuff that's going on. But we also got sort of a new range for ghosts as well, because Xavier, when he, quote, died temporarily, he can see ghosts, and one of them that he can see is Maddie's father. And we're having an opportunity for there to be some exploration with that character. It may tie into a couple of other elements to the story. We also got some more mystery about some of our characters, notably Quinn, who actually told a really lovely story about why her name is Quinn, and I'm not going to go into the details of it. But overall, I'm really enjoying where we're going with the season. I was very doubtful originally with the idea that Simon was on the other side and Maddie was back in the regular world. But I think they've done a really good job of sort of not retreading things and also building on some of the character frictions. It's also been sweet to see how Maddie and her boyfriend, whose name I'm totally forgetting, are dealing with sort of the new situation as well. So it's off to a good start for me.
Yeah, Janet might, she passed over or whatever, but she might come back. I think you're right. I think she might very well come back, especially since she said she was performing an experiment in crossing over. So maybe she had a theory that she can come back, or there's a way to come back, or something. So I'm right there with you. Yeah, the thing between Maddie and Wally, I enjoyed that. It could be very easy for Maddie to just like, well, we can't touch each other anymore. Oh well, it's over. But he's still in love with her, and apparently she's still got feelings for him. So I love that scene where she takes her ring off, sets it down so he can pick it up and make a copy. And then he says, but what if it disappears? And she says, it'll still be there. I love that. Very touching. Yeah, it's fun to have this show back. It really is. And to see, getting some answers from the teacher about what happened that led to the bus crash and all that. Yeah, that was good. That we finally got some answers, and to know that there's an even worse thing in the hole, in the pit, or things, is also pretty cool to learn. So I kind of wondered where season 3 would go, but now I see there's more to this place. It's not so much the people as it is the place. We've got kind of a hellmouth in a sense here at this high school, And now, of course, we learned the high school is going to be closing, and of course, so we get a new character in the form of Chucky's bride. I mean, the actor that we all love, coming in as the district person who's saying that they're going to shut down the high school, which puts a clock on all of our ghosts, right? What happens when the high school gets destroyed? Do they still get stuck to the property no matter what's there? All these things, all these questions. So, yeah, a lot of cool stuff. And I also was pleasantly surprised by the Quinn story. There was that theory floating around during the episode about maybe she was the one who ran in front of the bus. We don't know anybody named Quinn. The other dead ghost said they didn't know anybody named Quinn. But finding out that that's not the name she went by. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, folks might recall that I was the latecomer to School Spirits. Didn't watch the first 2 seasons when they were airing, but then decided to give it the go and watch those 2 seasons just a couple of months ago. So yeah, for me, it's been very fresh in my mind. And as you both have kind of pointed out, it seemed like the story, I won't say had run its full course, but by the end of season 2, it's like, okay, where do we go from here? And as you both, I think, kind of said in your comments, like, okay, we're going to pivot a little and we're going to focus a little more on, shall we say, the Hellmouth, and okay, what's some of that focus there? While we're also, what I love is spending some time and learning a little more about some characters like Quinn, like Rhonda, and expanding a little more now that Xavier can see Maddie's dad at the hospital. So they're doing a good job of like throwing a little bit of new stuff in, going a little deeper, making me kind of wonder. As Brent said, I was very excited when we had the news that Jennifer Tilly was coming in to play a character because, from the Chucky universe for sure, and even her movie career, I mean, she just can be wonderful at characters that are way out there. I mean, so far she's just kind of the mean-spirited school administrator, close the school, button it up. But we're only a couple episodes in because I'd just love to see where she might go. So yeah, very digging what's happening. That's why I get the 3 of them in terms of a very solid high watch it soon because I'm really enjoy spending time with these characters.
Yeah, the Hellmouth vibe is definitely there for sure. So definitely off to a good start. And let's move on now. Brent is going to talk about the finish of Percy Jackson season 2.
Yes, the finale episode where we get the big battle for the protection of the camp. And the resurrection or the saving of the tree. We get some great reveals in this final episode, which is why I kind of rated it a bit higher. I loved, the revelation that Zeus didn't save his daughter by turning her into a tree after she'd been like mortally wounded or killed. No, he turned her into a tree to stop her from doing what she was going to do. And I thought that was kind of, cruel and very much in line with the bigger gods, except maybe Perseus' father. And when they had the big battle and it looked like Percy was gonna die, although he wasn't, and he was saved by the trident. As this battle was happening, I was thinking to myself, is his father gonna come in? But then I thought, no, he can't come in. That would cheapen this whole thing, and it wouldn't be a fight of the kids, the younger generation like that. And so when the trident came in, my first thought was, oh my God, is he come in? And then I thought, no, he didn't, and it's his brother. And also the revelation at the end that his brother is the one that has been chosen to go off and lead the fight, and not Percy, but Percy has other fate ahead of him, as his father would indicate in the final episode. So just a lot of good stuff at the end. The saving of the tree, the healing of the tree, not only the healing of the tree, but turning her back into human form or demigod form, whatever you want to call her. And I love how she came out of the tree like she has no time, did not pass for her at all. She came out of the tree screaming the same word she was screaming when she was turned into a tree. So apparently, she was a tree. She didn't really, experience the passage of time. She was just frozen as a tree, which is kind of cruel, very cruel. What am I talking about? Kind of cruel. So, it's going to be interesting to see where they go next season from this, because they've got all the different factions now openly at play against each other. We've got the camp back though. And, I'm excited. It was a real fun show. First season was fun. Second season, very fun. And I'm looking forward to the third.
Yeah, for me, I did greatly enjoy it, but I don't know. I don't want to use the word disappointed, but maybe I was a little let down because we kind of had a big, build up to saving the camp and all, and then we spent several minutes with what looks like setting up some season 3 storyline, which is fine. Again, I don't want to knock it as much as I thought we really had a really good pace going for the first 7 episodes. And I thought we lost a little bit of it in the back, maybe third or half of this episode. But it was good to see more about the gods and, again, how they twist situations and what they do to people and, demigods and other folks to get what they need. But our set of heroes, in terms of where they're going to go there. So, very enjoyable. Still big high recommend for anyone, that hasn't seen it is, season 2 is again strong and well worth the view.
Yeah, no, I agree with that comment about, the pivot to season 3 or setup, maybe, it's a better term. That can feel like you took your foot off the gas a little bit, but leading up to that, Percy, I think, he was inspired the campers to go, fight Luke. Clarice is rallying people to go to Talia's tree and then gets betrayed there and is kind of surprised at how much she's become friends with Annabeth and Grover. So I liked all of that stuff a lot. It's kind of the thing I like about this show is how there's sort of little fractures and then people get back together or rally together a lot. And when Percy shows up with the force of the demigods, that was pretty cool. And it's also kind of an ongoing conflict around, who gets respected and who doesn't. And we got the expected showdown with Luke and Percy. So I enjoyed it a lot. This series is kind of a little sleeper to me. Even as we were coming into the return of the season, I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I do really like this show. And I like overall the introduction of Percy's brother into the story as well.
Yeah, that was a really nice
good character
addition this year.
But I do understand why it feels like it was a little bit of a muted ending.
More of a setup than a finale, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a good battle, though. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I wouldn't want. I don't want to take away with the battle in that part. It just because it's a show that had really been, like you said, I think, Wendy, pedal to the metal for 7 episodes, and then we kind of like ease off the gas for a little bit. It was like, okay, fine, we got to set up season 3.
Yeah, and I don't know because I didn't read the story how much it tracks with, where things might have ended in the books, correspondingly. So that'd be something I'd be curious to hear if any of our listeners who have read the Percy Jackson books had any comments on that. That'd be interesting. Okay, well, we're going to switch to Kevin talking about One Piece.
Yeah, I just wanted to give a quick update for my co-hosts and all of you listeners. I mentioned, I think, a couple of podcasts back, I'm giving One Piece a try. So season 2 is coming in March, and I heard lots of good things about season 1, just never got around to watching it. So I'm about halfway through season 1. It's an 8-episode season, as is season 2, and I'm through half the episodes. This is a bit of an odd show, and that's not in a bad way. For those who are fans of the original source material that I know is hugely popular, this is not, I have no background with it at all. I'm just going on the episodes as we've been aired on Netflix. I'm interested in it. It's a curiosity. It's kind of a fantastical world. Most, if not all, the characters are very over the top, very naive for some of them. The items that happen in the plot are very contrived to bring characters together, but that's not a bad thing. So, it's interesting watching it happen because we're kind of watching so far through half the first season, a small crew of, shall we say, pirates, as Monkey likes to call them all, our lead character, coming together, from very varying backgrounds. They shouldn't be working together at all, but circumstances have kind of set them up, and they're all their own unique kind of characters. And the villains, if you will, the pirates, and the fact that, almost all of them have got a big wanted poster, and then we see them come alive out of the poster, and they've all got these weird things that they can do. One of them, you can cut him up and all his pieces just come back together. And, Monkey is like a Stretch Armstrong. I mean, his arm can go out 30 feet and come back, and other weird things. So that's why I use the word fantastical stuff to it. So I can't say I'm loving it 4 episodes in, but I definitely will say I'm curious and I'm interested in what's happening next. So I'm sticking with it and do hope to finish out season 1 before season 2 it might drop. So it's a half a season tentative recommendation, depending upon where we might go and the type of shows you love. There's definitely folks who are going to watch this and check out after 1 episode. And there's probably other folks who will just be all on board after 1. So I'm definitely each episode leaning a little more into it, but you definitely got to kind of, I don't know if you want to say turn off your brain, but definitely go into this is nowhere near reality where this is taking place. And just enjoy, like I say, some of the performances and the visuals and the other stuff that goes with it. So it's definitely very different for that. If you're someone who enjoys something that's not middle of the road or very easily classified.
Well, that's interesting. Pirates does fit with things being, very weird and not necessarily coherent. So I'm curious. I will be interested to hear your comments as you get further into season 1.
Yeah, I'm glad you're watching this for us and letting us know because, like I said, the season 2 trailer looked really fun. So waiting to hear what you say because I may watch this thing too.
Yeah, and now that I've watched the first half of season 1, like when I watched the trailer, like I think we all did a few weeks ago when it came out, and now I kind of understand its approach on some of the villains and how they play them up, and they all are almost wah ha 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 kind of stuff. It's the way the characters are in this universe, and now it makes a lot more sense to me. Okay.
Well, with that, we are going to wrap up today's show. I want to thank you all for listening. We really appreciate it. And thank Kevin and Brent for another fun time talking about our favorite shows. We will see you again soon.
Catch you next time.
Have a great week, everybody.
If you'd like to contact Tuning Into Sci-Fi TV, we offer a variety of feedback options, including email at feedback@tuningintoscifitv.com, voicemail at 706-927-8478, Skype voicemail at Tuning Into Sci-Fi TV, or you can visit our website at tuningintoscifitv.com and use the SpeakPipe app or our forums. And finally, you can find us on Twitter at twitter.com/tuningintosci-fi or on Facebook at facebook.com/tuningintosci-fi TV. The theme music for Tuning Into Sci-Fi TV is by Beatnik Turtle, used with permission. You've been listening to Tuning Into Sci-Fi TV, episode 684, recorded February 2nd, 2026.